What's up, fellow adult collectors? Welcome to SeViLion Collectibles. In this video, I'll be discussing the brand new WWE Elite D-Generation X 2-pack featuring Triple H, and for the first time ever from Mattel, Chyna. I bought this set from Ringside Collectibles. Now, to my knowledge, it's not supposed to be an exclusive to that website. However, I haven't really been seeing it listed on any other websites either. As of this recording, the first round's already sold out on Ringside Collectibles, so it's probably going to be pretty scarce. If this is your first time landing on my channel, hi, my name is SeViLion, and here I like to discuss action figures and other collectibles based on my favorite movies, TV shows, and video games. If you find this video enjoyable or informative, please give me a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And just real quick, before we get all the way back into it, to aid in your hunt, here's a shot of the barcode on the bottom of the box. Given that the primary reason for this set to even exist is for Chyna, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on Triple H, but I will still cover him a little bit later on in the video. With that said, it's time for a good, slow, close, up and down look at both the front and back of Chyna. As far as I can tell, the parts that are truly new for this figure are the upper torso, the arms, and the head. The waist piece where the handcuffs for her belt are might be new too, but I can't say for sure. Everything else, though, is previously sculpted parts just with a new paint job for Chyna. The paint job itself is done fairly well, but it does have a couple of rough spots that you'll be able to see a little more clearly later on. Her face sculpt looks pretty good. You gotta keep in mind that this is based on her earlier days in DX, so it's before some of the plastic surgery that she had to look more feminine later on. So with that being the time frame it's focused on, it doesn't look bad at all. While I don't own any of the Jakks Pacific figures anymore, I can pretty confidently say this is better than anything they ever made. The upper torso also looks pretty good, featuring gear she did wear a lot at the time. But I do have to note that there is a bit of a paint issue with a lot of the black spilling over past the sculpt of her gear and onto her flesh. The arms also look really good. Chyna always had a really muscular build, and I was kind of afraid they were just going to use a basic set of arms on her and not really showcase that for her, but I was very wrong in that fear and glad to be so. Unfortunately, there is some kind of weird sculpted spot here on her arm, which is another sign of quality control problems. Moving down to her legs, the paint job is done pretty well, especially on the sides where the holes are cut into the tights. They can be a little spotty when you get zoomed in really close, but for the most part, it's nothing to worry about. She has a tattoo on her left shoulder, which still looks really good even this far zoomed in. Beyond that, her back is sculpted pretty nicely, showcasing that muscular build she was known for. The studded belt around her waistline is sculpted really nicely, but it does unfortunately suffer from more paint issues. At this point, quality control really is the main problem this figure has. Chyna's primary accessories are her extra hands. She starts out with open grip hands already on, but you can swap them out for closed fist hands. I would say that the title belt accessories aren't really hers, but they're in the package with her because she would usually carry them around for Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Neither of these belts are new to the line, as they've both come packaged with other figures in the past, so I don't see a need in spending any more time with them. Instead, I'll just move on to Chyna's articulation. Her head does turn side to side, but the hair sculpt really gets in the way. Her shoulders do spin all the way around, as well as move outward. The bicep does have full rotation, the elbow is only single jointed, and the wrist also has full rotation, along with the peg for back and forth movement. The upper torso is on a ball joint, which offers a decent range of all-around motion. Plus, she also has a tornado waist for 360 rotation. Strangely, her hip joints have a very limited range, whether it be sideways or front to back. She does have full rotation at the thigh cut. The double jointed knees fold pretty well. There's also full rotation at the top of the boot. The ankles do pretty well up and down, but they don't have pivot motion. They're more like rockers. As I mentioned earlier, I don't really have any of the Jakks Pacific versions of Chyna to compare her to, so I'll just pull Lita out, that way you can see how she stands side by side with her. Chyna was a bit taller than Lita, so I will say that the figure appears to be in scale, plus that women's title does look pretty good on Chyna as well. I will be providing a final review score for Chyna in a few minutes, but first, let's take a good slow look at Triple H, both front and back. For Triple H, the standout feature is his robe. It is a cloth goods item that's made pretty well with some intricate designs in it. It kind of goes to show that transition period between Hunter Hearst Helmsley and the Triple H that would become more known in DX. Underneath the robe, though, it's pretty standard for an Elite figure, especially a Triple H Elite figure. I don't think there's really anything new here at all, except maybe the paint job. With that said though, it does look pretty good, and if you're a Triple H purist, kind of in the same way that I am with Undertaker and Kane, owning every Elite figure they've made so far, you'll be happy with what you get. With all of the quality control problems I found with the Chyna figure, I'm kind of surprised to be able to say that with Triple H, there is none of that. Well, I take that back. There is one spot that's a little rough. There's a couple of silver blotches on the knee pads that extend out from the H's outline. Other than that, it's pretty much what you'd expect for a standard figure in the Elite collection. Because of just how standard this figure really is, I'm not going to do a full articulation segment, but I will go through and at least name the points real quick. On the upper body, you have the neck, shoulders, biceps, single elbow, and wrist, plus you have the ab crunch and tornado waist. On the lower body, you've got the hips, thigh cut, double jointed knees, top of the boot rotation, and the ankle. Also, Triple H does have another set of hands that can be swapped out, and if you know DX, you know what these are for. So, with all that said, it's time to run this Chyna and Triple H 2-pack through my guidelines for a complete and fair review. Chyna is made with enough newly sculpted parts to make her a unique figure. Both figures are well detailed and screen accurate to the DX versions of these characters. They do both feature more than 20 points of articulation and are in scale with the rest of the line. Both figures do balance pretty well, and the pack does include plenty of accessories. Unfortunately, I do think that the retail price of $50 is a little steep for this pack, especially with all the quality control issues, even more so if you gotta add shipping on top of that. Also, even finding it at that retail price is going to be difficult because I haven't seen it available anywhere except for Ringside Collectibles. Therefore, leading my final score to a 7 out of 10 star rating, meaning it's still amazing and worth owning for all fans of the character. So while I do think it could have been better, I won't call it a disappointment either. There's certainly room for improvement, plus I would like to see some later versions of her from her solo career. Hopefully though, when Mattel sees just how much of a demand there is for Chyna, they'll make more of her. In my opinion, a great way for them to do that would be to make a defining moments version of her based on her winning the Intercontinental Championship. For now though, I am mostly happy with what we got, and Chyna is absolutely worth adding to your DX collection. And if you're not down with that, you know the rest.